that's left for me is here in this eternity of isolation.
Daphne, are you still sleeping? Yeah. Oh, hey, sweetie. Oh, baby girl. Good morning. Good morning. Ooh, I think I'm going to open the curtains. And I'll go open the curtains. Okay, here we go. Nice sunny day today. Look at this. Maybe Daphne will wake up now. Yeah, there you go. Well, good morning, everyone. I heard today that my new tripod arm, I'm wiggling the camera, the new tripod arm for my new phone camera thing is gonna get delivered today by Amazon. So I'm waiting for that to come. It's supposed to come between 3 and 6, so I'm excited. I hope that actually arrives. And we got a new router today as well, so hopefully the internet's gonna get a bit better. But yeah, I'm a bit bummed out this morning because I just went on oh, it's like a depressing story time. Here we go, depressing story time. So I'm getting married next year in April, and I've been watching lots of Say Yes to the Dress Atlanta, Say Yes to the Dress Lancashire, Say Yes to the Dress, New York or whatever. There's loads of them. And there's this old episode of the Atlanta one of this woman who she comes in and she's talking about her fiance, and she says that he's just been diagnosed with ALS, which is a degenerative disease. I think it's got another name. Lou Gehrig's disease, maybe. Yeah, it's really a horrible disease because it doesn't affect your mind at all. So you stay totally conscious in your mind, but your body slowly deteriorates. And she had committed to caring for him as he got sicker, and they were getting married. So it was this really emotional episode, and then the people in the shop decide that they're inspired by her story and everything, and they actually gift her the dress, so she doesn't have to pay for a wedding dress at all. And then everyone's crying, and I'm watching it this is so sad. So I saw that episode a while ago, and I followed her on Instagram, the woman, because she has this post called Hope for Steve, and her name's Hope and he's called Steve, but it's also Hope for Steve because he's battling this disease. And she posted today that he'd passed away, so that was really sad. So now I'm sad. Just a shame. Anyway, she's called Hope for Steve. If you want to go give her some love or something. Yeah, so I'm just gonna get on with my day now, try and do something more cheery, and I'll come back and tell you when my tripod arrives. Okay, bye. I just thought of something else that Miss Daphne did. Here, she's going back to sleep again. Daphne, she's so cute. So she brought in a big giant rat this morning. Big, huge, 8-inch long, half dead rat, and then just left it in the living room to die. So Paul gets up before me. He's like, what am I supposed to do with this ginormous rat that's mostly dead? So he just gave it back to her, left it, and then she killed it, finished it off, and then he took it outside because he didn't want her to eat it inside. But she didn't eat it, she just left it, and I think a crow took it away. Yeah, so big giant rat gift. And I was just stroking her just now and noticed she had a bit crusty on her side, and it's bird poo. So she's been pooed on by a bird and brought us the gift of a giant rat. So yeah, it's not all joy with cute cats. It is also a little bit disgusting. Yep. But yeah, I thought you should just like to know that information. Oh, there you go. Are you getting up now? Bye. Look what arrived. It's my new phone holder camera table clamp thing. This is how it came. I ordered it from Amazon, and the man kind of left it at the front door and then ran away, so they don't get into meters of view. Here it is, all set up. So it does clip on the table. It's actually got quite a big screw area here, so it could get on a table maybe twice that thickness, or a surface. And you screw it up and then screw it down to tighten it, and then it has this kind of rubber protector thing for the cable, and then it has this really thick, it's really stiff to bend arm here, and then this is the phone clamp. So it's like you pull it here to open it up, and then your phone sits in here in the clamp. See these little ridges sort of hold your phone in place. Oh, sorry, I'm going too close to it now. Yeah, these ridges here on the inside. So I'm going to pop the camera in. I've set up a little sketchbook so I can test out how well it works, but I think it's going to be pretty good. I'm happy with it so far. Well, I'd say that my top-down filming was a success. It definitely looks really good. I just did a super quick little sketch of a lily, but I'm happy. I think it was worth the money. Yeah.
The next day.
So we finished D&D and I filmed a bunch of it, but we're still getting to figure out how all the software works and stuff. So every time we're trying to do something, it's really slow, and we all end up like discussing how the different systems work on Roll20 and stuff like that. It's a bit difficult to watch back. So I'm just going to put in a little clip so you can see how much better we got the maps working and the little player tokens. And then maybe one day when we've got it more streamlined, I'll put in a longer clip of our games, and it'll be more interesting to watch, but not today.
On your hidden altar, however many visitors you have tortured in your dungeon, know that you are not the one who brought me to this beautiful land. You are but worms thriving in my earth. Or even a head. It's a headless suit of armor. But
It's a headless suit of armor.
It's a headless suit of armor, but it's been alerted to your presence, and it draws its spear, ready to attack.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Oh my god, we're gonna get attacked by an animated headless suit of armor. This is like Scooby-Doo.
Everyone roll initiative.
It's like the slightly extra spooky version of Josie's Mirror.
Yeah.
We're doing much better today. This is a much better map.
Yeah.
Josie's
Okay, should we move to the next room
is
then?
not working at all.
Yeah.
Should we investigate the toilet?
Is that a toilet? Is it finally
Or
a
should we
toilet?
just go straight across the other more interesting room?
Yeah, the thing that looks like a bath. Alright guys, whoa, zoomed in. Right. I'm out in the garage, we've just finished D&D, and Josie's Tabaxi character, which is a cat species, didn't have a very good token in the game, so I thought I would try and make one. I'm just going to unplug my phone. There we go. So I looked up Tabaxi player tokens for the game, and there was this really cool one on Google, and it looked kind of like this, but it was an archer, so I kind of edited it to make it look like a wizard, and it's turned out kind of good, kind of cool. This is the original one, so he's awesome. He's more like a panther kind of thing. So I took his bow and arrow away, and then made its eyes a bit bigger so you could see the eyes and stuff from further zoomed out, because the tokens end up like really tiny. Hang on. So yeah, there's a little before and after of the little token that I made for Josie, and I've still got it up on the big screen. She's playing Stardew Valley over there. Yeah, so that was cool, and I'm gonna try it in the game now and see if it looks good. Look at that, she's in the room. Little tabaxi cat. Straight into the mat, and it looks transparent enough that I'm quite happy with it. Yeah, success. Alright, so yesterday me and Paul watched a documentary about alien conspiracy theories. Alien, like, they're like, I'm a doctor of cardiac surgery and I also believe in aliens, and I'm the director of the Human Alien Relationship Council of Earth. So they were super serious people. And that guy had like met President Clinton or something, and he'd spoken to all these CIA meetings, and he'd spoken to the government of France about like setting up the French protocol for how to diplomatically converse with aliens. It was wild. So we watched that. And I wasn't sure about a lot of it because they put some stuff in it that was like already debunked stuff. But I guess it maybe hadn't been debunked at the time it was in their video. But it got me thinking, because they said this quote, and it was like 5% of Americans have said that they've seen a UFO. And I was like, that's so many. Like, that's 1 in 20 people. So I went on my Facebook and I was like, I've got more than 20 people on Facebook. I'm going to ask if anyone's ever seen an alien and see if anyone says that they have. Even though they're not American. I think maybe less European people have seen aliens, maybe, than Americans. So I asked, I was like, have you ever seen an alien or a UFO or had a paranormal experience of any kind? And I got some cool replies from people, like a couple of actually cool replies. So I thought I would tell you their stories and then also tell you a paranormal experience story that I had, because I've had a few as well. So I'm gonna load them up if it wants to work today. Oh, that's horrifying. No, thank you. Okay. The things that open on Facebook when you open Facebook. No, okay. Right. Oh, here we go. So, I got one from my friend Dustin, who's an American archaeologist. And I think he maybe lives in Maryland, but I'm not totally sure. And he told me the story. He said, oh no, this is a story. He was driving on a highway between Connecticut and Massachusetts. And he said a large object burning up in the sky like a shooting star, but it was much bigger. And he thought it was maybe a satellite or some kind of space junk that was coming back to Earth, but nobody saw it and no local news reported on it. So he's like, what was that I saw? Nobody's talking about it. So that was kind of cool. My friend Lexi's granny saw a flying saucer shaped like a tin can, like a vertical tin can hovering above a little woodland area near where she lives when she was in the car with her dad, and her dad saw it too. So she told me that story, and she was like, it was real, and I saw it, and my dad saw it too, and it was like a huge metal, like cylindrical object floating above some trees. There's a girl called Jordan that I know, and she told me about a time she was driving with her dad, going to pick her mum up from the airport. And they live in the States. I think they live in Ohio. And they were going along a highway, and they saw a pair of headlights behind them. And they're like, okay, they're normal headlights. They're really, really bright, like LED headlights, and they hadn't dipped the highlights. So they were kind of dazzling them while they were trying to drive. So they said, this guy's a dick. Why is he not turning his headlights down? What's going on here? And then suddenly the headlights started to split apart. They started to separate, and then they went around the outside of the car. They sped up around the outside of the car, and then they like shot out to the sides in opposite directions and flew away. And they totally disappeared. And they both saw it happening. They were like watching in the rearview mirror, and like she was turning around to look behind while her dad was driving. And they both saw the lights come separate and come around the car and then shoot off in different directions either side. I've never heard any stories like that before. That's a totally exciting, like, new kind of story. So she's like, she's still a skeptic. She's not actually sure she believes in aliens, but she can't, neither of them were able to think of an explanation for that they could explain. And then another friend of mine said that she was at a Native American coming of age ceremony, and one of the elders at the camp was referring to sprites of people that had passed away that would live on as spirits in the forest. And right when they said that, like, something started moving in the forest, and it was like something was alive, like a spiritual, like this spiritual living forest sort of ghostly feeling that happened. And she said that that was kind of spiritual, and that I think other people experienced that were there at the time. But other than that, she said she was skeptical too. This was in California. So, yeah, out of everyone, I asked my whole Facebook, and I've maybe got like 10 American friends and 200 Scottish friends, and 3 Americans all said they'd had paranormal experiences, and none of my Scottish friends said that they had, which is an interesting result, to be honest. But I'm from Edinburgh. I've not ever had an alien experience, but people say Edinburgh is the most haunted city in the world, and people come all the time for ghost tours, and to go on tours of the vaults and these underground passages that we have, and they hear the stories about witch burnings and plague deaths and all these mysterious, really horrifying things that have happened in the city. And a few years ago, I moved into a flat, which was in the Cowgate, which is basically the oldest part of the town, right beside the castle. It's in the very, very centre of the town. And it's really low down. It's right at the bottom of Castle Mound. So it's where like the really sort of poor people used to live. There was big tenements all really packed close together, and like loads of disease and sewage on the streets and stuff. But the building that I live in actually wasn't old, because in the 80s there was a massive gas explosion and the whole tenement building exploded and it killed 2 people inside. And then on the same site they built this new building, so that was where I moved into. So it was both in the oldest part of a 1,000-year-old city and built on the site where an explosion had killed 2 people in the previous building. So I went into it with like maybe a little bit of a "this place is almost certainly haunted" expectation. And for the first like 8 months, kind of nothing happened. Like, it was fine. I never got any ghosty feelings at all. And then there was this one night I went to sleep and I couldn't really sleep. I was kind of half awake. Like, you know when you're lying in bed in the dark but you're just wide awake. I had my eyes closed, and then I felt this feeling like the weight of a person climb into the bed beside me. It was a double bed, and I was on my own. They climbed into the bed and then they lay down beside me, and it's like you can feel the weight of the person getting in the bed and their weight on the mattress. And then I heard this and felt a breath on the back of my neck, like the most horrible noise. And I could feel it, like I physically felt it on my neck. So I freaked out really hard, like hiding my face, hiding under the covers. Oh my god, what am I going to do? Is there someone in the bed? And then I kind of quickly flung my arm out to the side to feel beside me, like to pat, but without looking, because I didn't want to look. And there was nobody there. Like, there wasn't a dip in the bed or anything like that. It just felt normal, like there was nothing there. I didn't feel cold or anything. There was no chill. There was no draft from the windows, because I didn't open the windows. Yeah, so that was really horrifying. So I turned on all the lights, and I didn't sleep for the whole rest of the night, and I had to go to work the next morning. And that was really, really shit. But it never happened again. I tried to like talk to the room. I said, you know, hey, if there's any ghosts in the room or anyone else, like, I don't have a problem with you. I don't want to, you know, I just want to peacefully cohabit with other spirits that live in this building, you know, please leave me alone. And it never happened again. So that was probably the worst ghost thing that ever happened to me. That was really horrible. The other one was when I was working in a bar in a sort of newer part of town, but it's still like 300 years old, the buildings. And it was another kind of tenement building, but it had a big, really deep basement that went really deep underground. And someone had told me, but I don't know if it's true, that it used to be part of a morgue. That whole building had been part of a morgue. But it's connected to an old theatre, so I sort of suspected it was actually part of the theatre rather than part of the morgue. But anyway, I don't know. That was the story. I'd have to do some research to find out what it actually was before it was a bar. But I was going down to collect stock because I was working in the kitchen, and every day I needed to go down in the morning and get all my supplies in for the kitchen from the freezers. so that there was like one underground level and then a second deeper underground level, which is where the freezers all were. And my friend was working on the bar. It was just me and my friend in the building. He's called Brooke. And I said, "Hey Brooke, I'm going to go downstairs. Can you give me the key? And like, don't like watch out so that nobody else sneaks in behind me down the stairs. Because if a customer sneaks in, they get access to all our, all our stock." She's like, "Okay." I take my key, and then I come down, and then I would lock the door behind me to the middle underground layer, because that's where all the alcohol stock was. And then I went down to the deep bottom layer. So I went down there, I got my kitchen stuff, food, and then I started coming back up again. And then I heard someone knocking on the door to get into the bar, the middle underground layer bar, like knocking on the door. And I was like, "Brooke, is that you? Brooke, is that you?" He's like, nobody replied. There's nobody there. And then I could see something, like the handle on the door started to shake, like someone was violently shaking the handle and trying to like get in the door, like shaking the door, shaking the handle. You could see the handle twisting, like someone's trying to get in. And I was like, "Hello, who is that? Oh my god." And I thought something was wrong, like maybe something's wrong with Brooke, he needs help, I don't know what's going on. So I frantically came to the door and I got my key and I was like, "Oh my god," trying to open the door, open the key. And then I swung the door open and there was nobody there. And I did it really fast. Like, it was fast enough that there couldn't have been somebody on the other side of the door because it was right at the bottom of a set of stairs. And they would have had to run up the entire set of stairs in the amount of time it took me to just turn the key and open the door. There was nobody. And I ran up and I was like, "Brooke, what the hell? What was that? That's not funny. Don't play jokes on me. I can't handle it." And he was like standing there like busy doing something. And there was a customer and he's like not out of breath. He's not just run up the stairs like, "Hey, what are you talking about? I don't understand." I told him the story and he's like, "Oh yeah, that basement's haunted. Like, that stuff like that happens to people here all the time, So yeah, that was crazy. So I think those were my two most like physical, ghostly, paranormal experiences I've had. So I hope you like my stories. I think that's all I'm gonna say about those for this evening. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed them, and tell me if you've had any ghost experiences too. Okay, so it's the end of a couple of days here for me. I'm in the garage at my parents' house, and I'll be staying here for the weekend, I think. Paul's still not Paul. He's not coming. But yeah, I still haven't really... I don't know anyone who's sick. I don't know anyone who's infected with the virus. I looked up the number of cases in the Lothians today, and there's 356 infected people in the Lothians as of today, out of a population of 900,000. So it's a really low percentage of the population at this time. Obviously, like, that's only the people being tested, and nobody's getting tested unless they're critical in the hospital. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be taking a massive hold in Scotland, but that's just because we're following all the rules, I think. It would definitely be much worse if we weren't, because in the States and America where they're not following the rules, it's been a much higher infection rate. So yeah, we're just gonna keep doing what we're meant to be doing, and keep trying to enjoy our lives despite the craziness. And I'll come back and see you guys in another couple of days. Bye.